Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the Broken Beauty channel. It is me, Coach Charmaine, here again with day 2 of my trust issues series. I know I've been gone for a minute, y'all. I know. But trust me when your girl says she is working on some things in the background, prepping for this holiday rush. So I just need y'all to bear with me. We are definitely going to get through these 7 days of trust issues. I promise you. So today in day 2, we are taking off with basically understanding when you've lived in survival mode for too long, self-abandonment starts to feel like love. And you tell yourself you're being understanding, you're being forgiving, or the bigger person. But deep down, you're just afraid that if you speak your truth, someone will leave. You're afraid that if you rest, you'll fall behind. And can I tell you, you're so far from the truth when you think that way. And if y'all see me hitting up here, it's because my phone is here and people are texting, so I'm trying to stop it. But you're afraid that if you honor your needs, you'll lose their approval. But the truth is, every time you betray yourself to be accepted by others, you teach your spirit that your voice doesn't matter. And that silence, that swallowing of truth, becomes the breeding ground for distrust. You stop trusting your discernment because you've overridden it too many times. You stop believing in your worth because you've settled too often. And you start to confuse being needed with being valued. And before you know it, your relationship with yourself mirrors every betrayal you swore you'd never tolerate again. But friend, let me tell you, this is where God steps in. He doesn't want to heal the wounds caused by others. He wants to restore the covenant you broke with yourself. You see, because healing yourself, trust isn't about perfection. It's about returning to the quiet space where your heart can rest without judgment. Returning to the gentle conviction of the Holy Spirit that says, you don't have to prove your worth anymore. It's about returning to the moment you finally say, God, I'm tired of betraying me, because that's the moment transformation begins. When you surrender your guilt, your exhaustion, your people-pleasing patterns, and let God teach you what love looks like when it starts from within, that's when peace begins to take root again. So no, your trust issues aren't just about them. They're about you. Finally choosing you the way God always has. And sometimes trust issues start within by saying yes when you really mean to say no, or ignoring your gut, right? These are the things that crack trust before betrayal ever showed up in our lives. And if you want to just really look at it from a God's perspective, you're probably saying, well, coach, how do we handle that? How do we stop ourselves from saying yes when we really need to say no? And that's a good question. What I would advise is first start with the Psalm 73:26, where God says, my flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart. And you know what? I said where God says, where Psalm says, this was David who said this: my flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart. Psalm 73:26. See, I was about to stop this because, like I said, I can't teach you what I ain't been through. I used to be a perfectionist, y'all. Everything had to be perfect. There was a time where, when I first started YouTube, it would take me days before I got one video out because everything had to come out right. And as you see, I just made a mistake, but I corrected it because I'm human. And that's all God wants. He wants us to be human. He does not want you to be perfect because nobody is perfect but Him. He wants us to lean into Him and become a part of Him, because our flesh and our heart is going to fail us, no doubt. But God will always be the strength of our heart. So what I challenge you with today, here we go. Here they go calling me. Okay, there we go. What I challenge you with today, you guys, is write down one way you've broken trust with yourself. Awareness is the first step towards healing. Okay? And the deepest cracks in trust often start from within ourselves. So take today, do that journal. Ask yourself, where is the one place that you've broken trust within yourself? Make yourself aware of it, because that's the first step. When you become aware, then you are more able to correct the situation. Now, before I leave, I want y'all to know my book is out. This book talks about trust as well. Okay. This book, a lot of people see the title and they call it laziness. But for me, when I was writing this book, it was pain waiting to breathe. They told me, stop procrastinating. They called it procrastination, y'all. But deep down, what I felt inside was my heart afraid to fail. Because you see, I see the delay behind the grief. I've felt and heard trauma when it whispered wait. And the exhaustion, all that exhaustion that no cup can ever refill. This book right here, I'm telling y'all, this book is not about productivity. It's about restoration. And it's about understanding why we stall, why we hide, why we hesitate. And after the hesitating, the hiding, and the stalling, we eventually give ourselves permission to just heal. This book is not just written from theory. I lived it. I lived it, you guys. I lived this book. I lived this book. And when I tell you, I felt the shame that paralyzes and the fear that freezes. And then when you sit in that stillness, oh my goodness, sometimes it can be so deafening and you begin to question yourself. But after a while, the stillness becomes holy because you realize that God is there. God is in the building. God is in the stillness. And that's where He is meeting you. I wrote the book for the brokenhearted. I wrote this book for those who are overgivers, for those of us who were people pleasers, for the dreamers who are afraid to dream, and for those who are just ready to let their soul just breathe again. That's what I wrote this book for. So if this book is any one of you, you can go to the link below. And right now, my book is on a discounted sale. The discount is in the link below, and the link to get the book is below. So go there and get the book, you guys, because this book is about restoration. It's not about productivity. It's about restoration. So I implore you to get it. I love you with the love of Christ. I will be back with day 3 of our trust issues series. I will talk to you guys soon. God bless. Who is it that keeps calling?